Now, everybody remember. Hello, hello, hello. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna come around here. Hello. Everybody remember that if you want to ask a question, then try to get my attention first so I can bring over a microphone for you. So that way the YouTubers can hear it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Garden State, yes, hey, Garden State Java user group. Our first, what? Thank you for the pizza. Woohoo! Woo! If you actually show up in person, you can eat pizza. Yeah.
Yeah, like this one here.
There's a
Yeah.
good one. Yeah. There.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I hear Barry told me that.
Hey, come on in the
Right. Yeah. Oh, you have to make it follow me.
You know what? If I make it follow me while I'm introducing you,
Yeah.
then it follows me.
That's good.
After, yeah, I can't. Okay.
So that's you know, so you're an important
part of that.
So
Okay.
Barry told me that.
This is our speaker, one of our speakers, by the way.
Yeah. Barry told me that you only have pizza privilege if you sign up. So if you did not sign up, you have to return the pizza.
That's right. We want it back.
Okay.
This is one of our speakers today. This is Bruno Sousa. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Sousa is good, yeah.
Is it Sousa? Sousa?
No, Sousa is Brazil, right? In Brazil, we say Sousa.
Sousa.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Should I be eating while you're introducing me? That's not
absolutely.
That's not smart,
we
right?
insist on it. We insist on it. He's the founder of Code for Life. That is an accelerator for career developers.
Mm-hmm.
He is a founder and coordinator of SoJava in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the largest Java user groups in the world, which is strange for me to say because I thought Garden State Jug was the largest.
Oh, you're the second largest.
All right. Okay. All right. Oh, and the other thing is I remember the last time we had Java 1, what was it, 2, 3 years ago, something like that?
Yeah, 2 years ago, right?
What?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
A number of years ago, this man won from Oracle the Lifetime Achievement Award for contributions to the Java community. How about that?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So he's going to tell you everything you want to know about everything. And I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. I thought I'm going to eat pizza first, but. So while I'm finished the pizza, let me tell you that I was going to do this is my last slide of the presentation. So I'm putting it right here. That's my gift for you. This book, The Developer Career Master Plan. It's a book that I wrote with Heather Vancouver. She's the head of the JCP, the Java Community Process. And it's a book that has a lot of insights from many, open source developers, Java champions, and top people from the community. So while I finish my piece of pizza, you can come here and request your free copy of the first chapter. And the first chapter is one that's, I like to say that developers are love to learn. Is that reasonable? Love to learn? Actually, I like to say that developers are addicted to learn, right? Let me see if I can prove you that you're addicted to learn. So who here has, not you necessarily, but developers in general, right? So who here has bought a book about the topic that you wanted to learn, right? And you never even opened the book. All right. Okay. I already proved my point, but let's go one step further, right? Who here has bought, paid money for a course, right? Something that you wanted to learn, you wanted to train about, and, you never went to the course. Okay, a few people, right? So yeah, we are addicted to learn, okay? So this chapter here, the first chapter of this book, is going to show you the truth behind learning, right? And why it's important to acquire skills instead of just learn, right? So if you want to go ahead and get, and I'll just eat the last bite of the pizza here.
I actually have a variation on what just the last question, where I bought a whole bunch of the variation on the last portion about not attending. I bought a whole set of discs way back 10, 15, 20 years ago on digital C.
Yep.
I watched the first disc about 5 times. That's about it. Out of 15 discs.
Yep. Very normal. Very normal. That's good. All right. I actually love this camera. You know, I love the fact because I'm a person that walks a lot. I keep walking. I'm gonna go all the way. I've been twice to my friends all the way in the back, right? So, yeah. So I love cameras that follow me. Sometimes you go to an event and the camera is just focused on the podium, for example, and you know, I don't notice that, and so when it comes out in the recordings later, I'm not in the video at all. It's just like the empty podium and just my voice. Yeah, right. So that's good. Okay, so all right. So whether you got this here or not, we can get back to this slide later on, but let me just get back here really quick. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the reputation formula here today, and who did not get a sticker? Because lots of people are here later. So just raise your hand and I'll get you a sticker. Sticker. All right, you got one? All right, so that you can put in the laptop, in your cell phone. You can put in the window, in the mirror in the morning, right? So you never forget about the reputation formula. You get one here and one here. All right. So yeah, give it to your friend. All right. Okay. So yeah. So everyone online. So if anyone online, if you have any questions, the audio is good, right? So it's going on.
Able to hear them, but they can type their questions in the chat.
I know, but the audio is going coming back. Yeah. Okay. So if you're here online and you have any questions, please shoot the questions. I'll be answering everything that you guys want, right? Especially because my co-speaker Vinicius, he is, let's see, he should be landed by now, right? So while I speak, he's going to be coming this way. So hopefully when I finish, he's going to be here, or whenever he arrives, I'll finish, right? Okay. So let's talk a little bit about reputation, right? Reputation, it's one of the most important things in our career. We think that our jobs are important, that our salary is important. Yes, those are important, but reputation is more important than that. Reputation is more important than your salary, is more important than your job, is more important than your house, right? Because your reputation can get you all that. And so, and reputation is very interesting. It's very weird because reputation is what people believe about you, right? So reputation, it's not necessarily how much you know about something. It's not necessarily everything that you did, right? Reputation is what people believe about you. So if people don't believe anything about you, you have no reputation, right? But here's the problem. People always believe something about you, right? And so if they don't know anything about you, they will assume whatever they want. And so, they might assume good things, they might assume bad things. They might just assume that, because they don't know you, is because you haven't ever done anything, right? So although we cannot fully control our reputation, we can, influence our reputation, right? And because of that, because reputation is so important, what happened here?
I didn't know you needed the
Yeah.
screen sharing.
Oh, you cancel my screen share?
Yeah, so that I didn't need-
All right. Okay, let me get back here then. Let me share it again then. All right. So because yeah, you got to sign up before you go up, sir. Sign up and get a sticker. How about that? If you sign up, you get a sticker.
If I
I'll be waiting. No, just kidding. Okay. So so reputation, the one thing that I try to do here for you guys, first of all, this is career reputation, okay? So that's about career and of course a technical career. There may be different kind of reputations in the market, right? If you are like a entertainer or a singer or something like this, but I don't know. I don't understand about it. So that's about career reputation. And it's a formula, okay? That means there are things in the formula that if you do those things, if you increase those things, you increase your reputation. So you have to increase what's on the top to increase your reputation. And you have to decrease what's on the bottom to increase your reputation. Make sense? So let's talk a little bit about this and see some examples. So the reputation formula is very simple. It's this one here. Refactoring divided by another. Okay? That's it. Good. Finish the presentation, right? Now, all right. So let's try to explain this here. And you guys have a sticker, and on this sticker, you can follow along, or you can just to remind you, right? So the first thing is focus. It's very hard to have a reputation if you don't know a reputation on what. Right? So you have to understand what is that you want people to believe about you. It has to be clear for you what kind of things you want people to see, what kind of things you want people to remember, what kind of things you want people to believe about you. Right? And although, again, you don't have full control of that, you can influence. But if you yourself don't really understand what is that you do that's special, what is that you do that should be remembered, if you don't know what that is, how can you influence other people to believe or to think about those things for you? Okay? And one of the problems that I see a lot in terms of focus is that developers don't like focus a lot, is because developers have what we call FOMO. Developers don't like focus because they have FOMO. What is FOMO? FOMO is the fear of missing out. Right? Is the fear of, if I learn Java, what if Python becomes important? Right? Or if I focus on Amazon, what do I do with Azure? We have the fear of missing out, right? What if there's an opportunity and I'm not ready for it? Okay? And because of that, we don't want to focus, right? We are afraid of find a focus. And that's why it's very, very common for developers to say, I'm a generalist. Right? Has anyone here consider yourself a generalist? Yeah, a few, right? It's very common, right? Several actually, very common. We are generalists. Why? Because we don't want to focus on anything, right? And so I want to be everything. And then people call the duck, right? People say, "Oh, I'm the duck," right? The duck, what's the story? The duck doesn't walk well, doesn't swim well, doesn't fly well, right? That's the idea of the duck, right? It's best at quacking, right? Yeah, go ahead, sir. Right there.
There you go. I had a couple of instances in my career that I have focused on a technology that eventually died.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, exactly. That's good. Let's talk about this, right? So what if the technology died, right? So that's the fear, right? So I cannot focus on anything because what if the technology died? And that, so I'm gonna miss out. I'm gonna be out of the market, for example, right? Just finish the duck story before I go to that question. For me, I think that comparison very unfair to the duck, right? Because the duck runs faster than we do, right? The duck, there are some ducks that dive extremely deep in the ocean, right? And the duck flies really, really, really well and long, right? So some of the longest migrations are done by ducks. So actually, the duck does walk well, swim well, and fly well. So why can't we? Right? So being a generalist, we have to understand. So here, going to before I go to your question, so here's the problem that we think. We believe that the way for us to focus is to focus on a tool, or as you said, a technology. Right? If I focus on a tool, so if I focus on Java, what if I need to learn Python later on? But here's the thing, guys. No one cares about focus on tools. Imagine that this ceiling here was made of wood. It's not, probably, right? But let's imagine it was, right? And it was leaking. There's some kind of problem in this roof. And there's a carpenter comes to your house and say, hey, don't worry. I'm going to fix your roof because I'm a specialist in hammers. Do you hire a specialist in hammers to fix your roof? No. You don't care about what tools he uses. You hire a specialist in roof, right? And the guy that fixes your roof used exactly the same tools as the guy that comes here to fix your cabinets, but you don't hire the same guy for both things because they're different. They're different problems. When we talk about focus, we're not focused on technology. We're not focused on tools. We're focused on problems, right? And of course, there are, the company that builds hammers, I'm sure they have a specialist in hammers, right? I was actually, the other day, I have a mentee of mine, and she was telling me that her father, retired from a tools company, right? And so she was telling me that they do have the specialists in hammers, but they have the specialists in the handle of the hammer. They have the specialists on the head of the hammer, and they have the specialists on the glue of the hammer, right? So if you want to specialize on tools, you can. But if you want to specialize on Java, go build the Java VM. Go build the tool, and that could be an amazing thing. That's a great problem to solve, right? But for the majority of us, we are not specialists on tools. We're specialists on problems. And the interesting thing is that once you become a specialist on problems, you at the same time focus more what you're doing and opens up more possibilities. What do I mean by that? If you are a specialist, for example, in solving, I don't know, we're just joking here before everyone arrived here. We're just joking here because Barry was reading aloud my credit card number, right? Just so everyone can just copy, right? So if you're specialized on, on credit card fraud for large banks using Java and cloud, that's a pretty specific problem that you're solving, right? But think about that. If you do that and, AI shows along, you can use AI, right? If, different cloud providers show along, you can use different cloud providers. If different, if any kind of different tool shows along, if Python is great to do that, that's great. You can use any tool you want to solve the big problem that you're good at. That's how carpenter works, right? It's because, it's not because now there is a electric hammer, it doesn't change his job. He still does, he can be more productive, he can do different things, but all the knowledge that he has, all the specialty that he has, all the abilities that he has still work the same thing. And that's us, guys. We end up being for software development, for some reason, we end up too focused on tools. Because tools are nice, right? We can discuss with each other, we can disagree, we can fight for the tools. But in the end, we are here to solve problems. That's why I'm not against someone that's a generalist, because a generalist is really good in solving problems. So if you consider yourself a generalist, then you probably have the most important skill for focus, because you're very good at solving problems. Right? Now, the problem is not that you're a generalist. The problem is that how do you present yourself to the market? Right? Because remember, reputation is about how people believe about you. So if you're able to solve a specific problem and you can organize a specific, you can think about a specific problem, then how do you present yourself to the market? Now, hopefully that already helped you answer your question, but let's be very specific. What do I do if the technology that I'm very good at disappears? Many technologies disappear. I mean, in our lifetime, many technologies disappear. Right? And, the thing is, it's not the tool that defines you. So if the tool that you're using disappears, you go use another tool to solve the problem. After all, every customer that you had using the old tool, you still have the same problem. When Delphi disappeared, people still had to do desktop applications, right? When, I don't know, when Genie disappeared, people still had to do distributed computing, right? So, oh man, someone's having a loud phone right over
There's
there.
some bizarre sound.
Yeah,
coming
some
from
bizarre
outside
sound.
the room.
Okay, so it's not about the tool, it's the problem that you solve. So the better you're able to define the problem that you solve, the better focus you have. Make sense? So that's what we have to think about. What problem do I solve? Because if you don't know what problem do you solve, how do you present to other people? Okay? So think about that. Think about what problem do you want to solve. And here's one thing. The bigger the problem that you solve, the more important you become in any kind of company, any kind of project. Right? So if you become very good at solving problems, that's going to be great for you. Okay? So that's focus. Focus about the problem that you solve. And I think it's one of the most important things here. Because once we're able to present ourselves in the market and show ourselves that what kind of problems that we solve, the market understands us. You become the guy, right? Oh, for example, I'm known as the Brazilian Java man, right? That's why I got the award that Barry's talking about last year, right? Because, I've been working with Java for too many years, right? But in my career, oh, so you're lucky, right? I choose the right technology, but I choose lots of wrong technologies too. For a while, I was known as the Genie man, right? Does anyone remember what Genie is, or remember Genie at all? Right? Yeah. Genie doesn't exist anymore, right? There's something else, right? I work a lot of Juxta, right? You probably know Juxta too, right? So no one even knows what that thing is, right? That was, those are a couple of projects from Buildjoy that Genie was fairly successful, I think. Juxta was, no one even understood what he was, I think. And so there's all kinds of technology that showed up and disappeared, right? And, that's okay. I can still solve problems, I can still work. Now, the problems behind Genie was the distributed technology, right? To build distributed systems. We still have to build distributed system anyway, in different ways, in different technology, different tools, but it's still everything is similar. Make sense? So think about the problem, right? Think about the problem, and that's really going to help you to do more. Okay? So that's the first thing. Now the second thing is, remember, reputation is what people believe about you. If they don't believe anything about you, you have no reputation, right? So you have to have some degree of visibility. People need to know who you are, what you do, what problems you solve. If they don't know, then you have no reputation. That's the biggest problem that generalists have. Because generalists, many times, they don't really understand how to present themselves. I'm a generalist. That's my main skill. I'm not as a Brazilian Java man, but my main skill is to solve problems. In my whole career, I have always been the guy that I got your project, and in the first couple of days, I know exactly what the biggest problem the project has, and that's the problem that I'm going to focus and solve it. It doesn't matter if it's Java, if it's programming, if it's delivering the software, if it's DevOps, if it's cloud, whatever. I figured out the biggest problem, and I'm going after that. I've working on desktop application, I've working on server-side application, I've working on security, I've working on cloud, I had a DevOps company, I have a career company, I have all kinds of different things. Because my main skill is solving problems. I'm a generalist. But if I present myself as a generalist, I solve any problem that you have, no one wants to hire me. But if I can present myself as solving a particular problem, I can be in the most important projects. Make sense? So you have to have some visibility. People have to know who you are. They have to know what you do. That means that, oh, Bruno, you're saying that I have to go to social media and, and create lots of content and, and do YouTube and do all this. No, I'm not saying any of that. You have to have some level of visibility. Many times, it works just by having visibility inside your company. For many people, that's all they need is visibility inside their company. So they can get the most important projects. They can be called for the most important problems. They can be assigned to the most interesting things that you want to do, right? But if you want to grow beyond your company, you may need visibility outside of your company, right? And sometimes you don't need to have a lot of visibility. All you need is the people that need you or have the problem that you're good at solving, that people need to know who you are and know that you solve that problem. Okay? That's what we have. We talk about sharing, for example, right? Sharing, I have it's not 5 steps, right? But it is, what I like, it's one sentence with five things here that I like you to think about. It has everything to do with visibility. Is the following. If, there's always an if there, right? If you share what you know, that means you build some visibility. If you share what you know, other people know what you know, and they trust you in what you know. And when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. Okay? So if you share what you know, other people know what you know, and they trust you in what you know. And when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. And that is the secret of you getting the most important jobs in the market. The most important projects in your company, the most important jobs in the market, to be hired for the most important companies. Because the most important jobs in the market are not available. They are offered for people that we trust. It's like this everywhere, right? Everywhere. If your company comes to you tomorrow and say, look, we have a new position for someone to work with you, right? Let's say your boss comes to you and say, hey, we have a new position for someone to work with you. What's the next thing your boss is going to ask you? Do you know anyone? Right? Do you know anyone that can work with you? Right? So if I say, yes, I know, Barry can work with me amazingly well. Right? If I call Barry and say, hey, Barry, look, I have this job here. Bruno said you're the best person to work with him. And it's a great job, pays very well, fully remote, great benefits, right? Amazing technology. You want to come work with us?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Now, if I call Barry and say, hey, Barry, Bruno said that you could be the perfect person to work here. And look, it's a very boring project, pays very little. You have to come to the office every day, right? You have no flexibility. You want to work with this? No. Right? And so in that case, no, it doesn't work. Do you want to work on that boring project? No. Do you want to work on that boring project? No. Do you want to work on that boring project? Maybe, maybe it's good, right? You know, do you want to work in the boring projects? No, do you want to work in the boring projects? Maybe, all right, okay. So what happens is the project that's not very good, right? People don't want to work at it.
Whoa. Now that I've got this thing working,
Sometimes you just have to, you know, make some compromise and
Right, I understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that. But my point is, the company that's trying to hire someone, they are betting that someone's going to be able to make some compromise, right? And so, the principal point is, if the job is amazing, you're going to say yes. And what happens is, if I cannot hire someone, what do I do with the job then? I try you, I tried you, I try her. No, everyone said no. What do I do with the job then? Get a, you know,
the response was get a contract.
get a contractor. Well, you know, what I do is I'll put online, right? So before, if I talk to Barry and he says yes, the job doesn't go online, right? If I talk to Barry, he says no, and I talk to him, he says no, and talk to him, he says no, then the job goes online. Or he's right, becomes a contractor job. So the point is, research, right, guys, research shows that 75% of the positions in the market are in what we call the hidden job market. What is the hidden job market? Is that positions that don't exist anywhere. It just exists in my head. I'm the only guy that knows that have that position. And I talked to Barry. Barry said yes, and that's it. The position never shows up anywhere. Now, that's 75% of all positions. But I contend that for the best positions, it's not 75. It's maybe 85 or maybe 95% of them. Because the moment I offer to someone, they say yes. And so if you want to have the biggest positions, you have to have some visibility. You have to be in my mind when I have that position. Right? And that works everywhere. It works inside your company. Right? One interesting thing, I have right now, several of my mentees are now working with AI. Why? Because the companies they're working for, they decided to do some innovative projects. And by doing innovative projects, they said, hey, so-and-so is doing some innovative project. You know, Andrea, that's a good example. Andrea, she's working on some innovative things. Let's ask her if she wants to do the AI project. Why her and not Barry? Right? Because internally, we thought about her before. And so it works inside your company, it works inside your team, it works outside of your company. So if you want to have access to the best position, think about this. 75% of the positions in the market are hidden. Right? So those are positions you do not even see. And worse than that.
Bruno, I have a question. Does
Yeah, go
that,
ahead.
do you think, is there any data on whether that varies from one kind of job to another?
I'm sure it varies a lot. Yeah. Right. But that's why I think, for example, that in the best positions, it's even more. Right?
Mhm.
It just depends a lot if I can get someone for a job immediately. You know, if that question, do you know someone? If that question can be answered, yes, I know someone and I can hire that person, then the job. Now, here's one problem. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he was telling me, he said, Bruno, one of the problems that I have right now is that every interview process now is so long. Right? You know, before you talk to one person, two people in the company, and now you have to talk to 5, 6, 7, even more before you can get a job. Have you guys felt that? Right? Now, have you ever thought about why? Why have to go through more process? It's harder to say no to people, right? It's hard for me to say, oh no, I'm not going to hire you. You know, if I interview one person and I say, I don't like you, I'm not going to hire you, people can go after me, right? They can say, oh, that's discrimination, that's, you didn't hire me because of this or that, right? And so what did companies do? They increase the hiring process. Because more people talking to you, I have lots of reasons. You talk to 10 people in my company. I have lots of reasons to not hire you anymore. Because you know what's the most evil thing about hiring process? That I think I wrote a whole book about that. It's not this book I gave to you guys, but it's another book called the Best Developer Job Ever. I wrote a whole book about that. And the problem is this. If I call Barry and say, hey, Barry, you want to work for me? Barry says yes, right? And then we're going to discuss, right? So, so how much you want to make? And we have an agreement. When can you start? Okay, blah, blah. So once I have Barry's agreements, I go to HR. Hello, please sign up here.
Come and sign in.
Yeah. And, here's what everyone is getting, right? You're not here, so you're not getting one of those. For the online people, right? Okay, that's for you. All right. So I agree with Barry, right? Let me tell a story before, I'll get back to Barry here in a minute. Let me tell a story because I love to talk about Sun, because Sun doesn't exist anymore, so we can just spill all the beans, right? So I worked for Sun twice, right? The second time I worked for Sun, I worked for one of the best positions in my life. I became the NetBeans community manager. I was responsible for the whole NetBeans community worldwide. NetBeans at that time was the most important open source project for Sun, right? So my future boss, she called me and said, Bruno, my team here says you're the best person to get this job. Do you want to come work for us? And I said, I have my own company. I don't want to work for you. And so we spent 4 months negotiating back and forth, right? I wanted my boss to hire my company instead of hire me as a contractor, right? And so we spent 4 months negotiating back and forth. I was asking too much money. I had my own company, I was asking too much money. My boss, she didn't have all that budget, and we negotiated back and forth for 4 months. Finally, we got an agreement. I accepted her terms. She accepted my terms. We got an agreement. The next day, after we agreed, she called me and said, Bruno, we have a group coming to Prague this weekend. Can you travel today? And I said, no, I can't travel. I can't travel today. I could travel tomorrow, right? Okay, can you travel tomorrow? So travel tomorrow. So I called in Sun and I got a flight ticket and all that, and to travel to Prague. Later that same day, because that's important. Later that same day, my boss called me again and said, Bruno, HR has just published your position online. Can you please go there and submit a resume? Right? Guys, that was one of the most important positions for Sun at that moment. I was a worldwide director, right? Making a lot of money. I have friends of mine that called me and said, Bruno, Sun just published this amazing position. Looks like made for you. You should submit your resume. I had friends of mine that called me and said, Bruno, Sun has just published this amazing position. Do you think I have a chance? Should I send my resume? Right? Do you know how many people submitted for that position, that amazing position at Sun? Do you know how many people submitted? No? Neither do I. Neither did my boss. She never knew how many people submitted because she was not looking for anything anymore. So here's the problem. After I agree with Barry, we agree he's going to be the right person, right? I tell HR and I say, hey, HR, I already talked to this guy here. That's the new position I want. That's the budget I have. I already talked with Barry. He already accepted. can you do the process? So what's the first process that HR does? Publish the position online. Right? And I'll tell you one thing. It is possible that when Sun hired me, it is possible that there were other people that were better than me. Right? There's a possibility. There's people that are better than me that wanted that position. But it's not about who is better. It's that who do I trust? Right? Who do I trust? Who do my team trust? Who is better in other ways? That's reputation. That's what reputation is. Right? Who do I trust to be in that position? Right? And anyone that I already know, already work with me, that I already trust, sign up here. Before you go. Yeah, thank you. Anyone that I know, it's much better than a piece of paper that says whatever they want. Right? So here's the thing, guys. 75% of the positions are invisible, and worse than that, some of those positions are visible, but you don't know that they don't exist. And so you go through a process, you get interviewed 3, 4, 5, 6 times, because that's the way for the company to say, you know, I'm not going to hire you. I already chose Barry, but I have to reject everyone else. And for me to reject everyone else, it's better that I put everyone else through multiple interviews so I can say sorry, because I have no reason to tell why I'm not going to hire you. Right? Do you think this is crazy? You know, I once traveled to the United States to be interviewed here. From Brazil to the United States, they paid me my flights, they paid the hotels. I spent a whole day talking with the company, talking with several directors, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I was suggested by a friend of mine that knew me, right? So I thought of him, man, that's a good position. I'm the right person. I was even indicated. But the guy that was hired in the end already knew the guy that was hiring, and they worked together in the previous company. Right? So I was not a competitor in that position. Now, do you know what the reason they gave me to not hire me? Because for me, they didn't give anyone. They said, sorry, we have decided not to continue. That's the standard message, right? But to my friend that had suggested me, they gave a reason. And they told him, they said, he came to the interview with t-shirt and jeans. Right?
What year was this?
Sorry?
What year was this? When was this?
Yeah, a few years ago. But
Only a few years ago?
yeah, only a few years ago. No, here's the thing. Absolutely everyone I talked to at the company was wearing t-shirts and jeans. Right? So what reason is that? It's just any reason. Right? Why? Because the owner of the position already had decided who he was going to hire. He already had called his friends. You know, the guy that was hiring had come from another company like a month before. So he had already called his friend and said, hey guys, I have a position here that's exactly made for you. And then shows up this other guy suggested by someone inside the same company, and he's not interested in hiring me. Right? Make sense? Hey, sign up here. All right, so guys, you have to remember, if you share what you know, other people know what you know, and they trust you in what you know. And when they need what you know, they call you and not someone else. You gotta be that person that gets called for the most amazing positions. Okay? You gotta be that person. Now, oh, Bruno, do I need to have lots of visibility? I always like to talk about a story about Alan. Alan's a mentee of mine. And Alan, you know, he's from Africa. And Alan, he lived in Paris, in France, And one thing that he wanted was to go back to his country, right? And because his family could not live in Paris with him, so they didn't have the visa to be there, so he couldn't bring them in. So he wanted to go back. He wanted remote work to go back to his country. So Alan wrote one LinkedIn article, visibility. Wrote one LinkedIn article. In this one LinkedIn article, he had a few likes, and one person made a comment on the article. And that's it. Nothing happened. Alan published a second LinkedIn article. When he published the second LinkedIn article, that guy that made a comment on his first article called him and offered him a job. Right? So, today Alan is very happy. He lives in Singapore. And I think he took his family there now. So, he first came back to his country, and now he got another job, lives in Singapore. I'm not sure if he's still there or not. But sometimes just a tiny little bit of visibility is enough. You don't need visibility in the whole world. You don't need to be a rock star. You don't need to be, Beyonce or anything like that, right? Especially because I'll tell you one thing. The entertainment industry and our industry, they're so different. Right? You get the Java industry. How many followers do you have on Twitter? More or less.
Me? I
Yeah.
don't know. I hardly ever look at Twitter.
Right, but whatever social media, LinkedIn, whatever social media you use.
I just don't look at those things.
Yeah, but how many?
Ask somebody else.
Come on, you tell me. No,
I don't know.
because you're the most important people here in the room. So how many do you have?
I
Like-
don't.
Hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands,
Millions.
millions.
I don't know. I
Come
don't
on,
know.
Barry.
I don't. 10. And
10?
somebody told me to say 10. Okay. All right.
I want a real number. Okay,
Yeah, ask somebody else.
because look, you are a Java champion, right?
Right.
So you should be the guy that has more than everyone else.
I don't
Right.
do social
Yeah,
media.
you don't know. So you see, he doesn't even do social media, right? So that's my point. And this is my whole point. You don't have to do those things. Barry, if you get the Java champions, the Java champions have, for example, I'm one of the in terms of number of social media, I'm one of the Java champions, not the top one. There's people much larger than I have, but I'm pretty high compared to other Java champions, right? And I have 16,000 followers on Twitter. It's not little, right? But let's get another example. Loyani Groiner. Loyani is one of the top YouTubers from the Java world, right? So Loyani has around 100,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel, right? She's one of the top in the world, in the Java world. Now, I was talking the other day with a friend of mine, and his daughter, she plays guitar, and she sings songs from other people. She's not she just plays guitar. It's just her, the guitar, and her voice. She has like 1 million followers on YouTube, right? So that's the difference. 1 million followers on the music and entertainment industry, you're nobody, right? 100,000 followers in Java world, you are the top, right? Think about at Java on Twitter. I'm not sure how much they have right now, but they used to have around 400,000 followers on Twitter. Right? It's nothing compared to the entertainment industry. So we're not looking for huge results, for huge visibility. We're just looking for enough visibility that the people that need us know who we are, know our focus. Make sense? All right. So, okay. So Vinicius is saying that, all right. Maybe you want to talk to Vinicius and see what he's going to do. You're gonna call him. Yeah. See what he wants to do because I don't know. He's messaging me. I don't know what he wants. All right. So, okay. So let's think about other things here, right? So those two are the longest ones in terms of the formula because they require a lot of explanation, right? The focus and visibility, right? But the rest, I think, is going to be a lot more self-explanatory. You also need action. You know, if you don't do things, your reputation goes out to the drain. You know that because you know people in your company, for example, that they talk. You know, everyone might know them, but they actually don't do anything, right? And so he loses a lot of reputation because of that, right? So you have to do things, especially because you need skills. You know, you need experience, right? And skills, you only acquire skills if you do it. That's why I gave you guys that free chapter, talk about learning. You know, the learning chapter, we talk about skills and not learning, right? Because the only thing that really matters for us is to do things. The only thing that actually changes our brains is to do things, especially for the students here, because there's lots of young people, there's maybe students yet. What matters for you guys are studying is to do things. Is as soon as possible to acquire experience of doing. Okay? Because what really changes your career, what really puts you in the market is your experience, right? You don't get your resume, for example, you don't put in your CV the books that you read, right? You know, beyond student level, you don't even put the courses that you attended, right? What do you put in a resume? You put the experience that you had, the project that you did, the problems that you had to solve, you know, the experience that you have, right? You know, when we have nothing, we put whatever we can, right? So we put the course that we attended, we put our university that we went to, all of that. But after 2-3 years of career, those things don't even matter anymore, because what matters is your experience, what you have, right? So your reputation is not about learning; it's about doing things and acquiring skills. Okay. So more details about skills on the book that I gave for you guys. All right. Other thing, you got to be a giver. You got to be a person that helps people more than you're helped. That's what a giver is. A giver is someone that gives more than they receive. There's 3 types of people in the world: the givers, the people that give more than they receive, the takers, the people that take more than they give, and then the matchers, right? The quid pro quo people, right? So I help you because you're helping me. And naturally, we think, okay, the best position is to be the quid pro quo guy, right? So I help, you help me, I help you, and that's amazing, right? But what research shows is that at the top of the organizations are the givers. The main leaders are the givers. That's research shows. You disagree, but that's the point, right? But here's the thing. Research also shows that who is at the bottom of the organizations are also the givers. So the givers sink to the bottom or they rise up to the top. And in the middle, there's the matchers and givers and takers, right? Of course, there's some takers that will grow. Of course, there's always, but that's the majority. And you understand that. You understand that the givers sink to the bottom, right? Because every movie that we watch about nerds, the nerds are at the bottom, right? So the stepping stone for everyone else. Make sense? That's how it is. The givers sink to the bottom, but there's a difference. There's a difference. We call the givers that sink to the bottom, we call them the selfless givers. The givers that sink to the bottom are the givers that they only, first of all, remember, both give more than they receive, okay? So the givers the selfless givers are the people that they only care about others, right? So the givers that sink to the bottom, they only care about others. The givers that float to the top, right, are what we call the otherish givers. And the givers that float to the top, they also care about themselves. Right? So you know what the difference between the givers that sink and the givers that float? Focus. The givers that know what they're doing, they know what they want to get, they know what results they're looking for, those givers, they have more results. Why? Because the givers that don't have focus, they're there just to help everyone else. And lots of people step on them. You know who especially steps on them? the takers, right? The givers that don't have focus, the takers love them because they just keep throwing at you what, do this for me, help me out here, do this, take this thing here, do that. And then since you don't have focus, you do everything for everyone. And then the people that you help, they grow and you stay. Right? That's why you have to have focus, because then you do the things that help you grow. And you know what else happens when you are a giver, a selfless giver? You burn out. Lots of people think that burnout is about being tired. It has nothing to do with that. I can guarantee that you go out on vacation and you go to the beach or to the mountains or whatever, you get back dead tired, don't you? Right? But you're not even close to burnout, are you? No. Why? Because you're doing things that you want to do. You're doing things that you care. You're doing things that are connected to your focus, to you, to what you want, to what you like. And you can do a lot what you like. That's not a problem. The problem is that when you start doing things and we see no results, we work, we do, we help, no results, no results, no results. And then what happens? Burnout? Not yet. And then what happens is that we get resented, get resentful. We start resent the people that are asking us for help. There's a thing, something the developers tell me. Maybe you're gonna help me out here if you have this problem or not. People tell me, "Oh, I have to learn how to say no." Who ever thought about it? I have to learn how to say no? A few people, only a few people. Yeah, because you always say yes all the time. And you have to learn how to say no, right? I'm getting too many things to do. I'm accepting too many jobs, right?
Or just keeping your mouth shut and not volunteering.
Right. No. So if I could do that, right? I just want to learn how to say no or not volunteer for things, right? Now, why do you need to learn how to say no? You need to learn how to say no because you like to say yes, right? Right? It's not that you're forced to say yes. You like to say yes. You like to do things. You like to learn things. So you want to say yes, right? So why are you have to learn how to say no? If it's your focus, you want to say yes, right? So here's the trick for you to never be resentful again, and for you never you never have to learn to say yes. You never have to learn how to say no. Is a trick that I like a lot, and you can use it with your kids even. You say yes, but. Yes, but. Hey, Barry, can you do this? I cannot fix this problem here. Can you sit down here and help me out and fix
Yes,
this?
but only if you wait another 3 weeks for me to get some other things off my plate.
Okay, that's fair, right? It would be more reasonable to say, yes, but I only have 5 minutes. I can sit down with you and guide you and then have other things to do. 3 weeks is kind of,
It depends on the task.
it's forcing me to say, I don't want your help anymore, right? Yes.
Maybe you can wait 3
Yeah, but maybe you can, that's fine. Maybe you can wait, right? So if you learn how to say yes, but, right? And you just put your conditions, right? I always remember one day, a mentee of mine, Rodrigo, he called me and said, Bruno, I have this opportunity to write a chapter for a book. Can you write the chapter for me? And I said, I want to say no, right? Because the book was in Portuguese and there was a time I was just creating content in English. And I said, yes, Rodrigo, I can help you, but you write the chapter. And he said, no, Bruno, it would be important if your name was there. Because if your name was there, it would help me, it would help the book. Because I would write a chapter together with you. And then I said, okay, but Rodrigo, I really don't want to write the chapter. So I can help you out, right? You can put my name there if you want to, but I can help you out. And then he said, why, Bruno? Why you don't want to write the book chapter with me? I said, Rodrigo, because I'm doing only thing in English. I don't want to spend time, for me, writing is difficult. I don't want to spend time. And then Rodrigo said, how about you give, you give a live on YouTube in English about the topic, and I will transcribe, translate to Portuguese, and write the chapter based on what you said. Because Rodrigo knew me, he knows I can talk for hours, right? I don't write, but I can talk for hours, right? So is the yeah. So I said, oh yes, I can do that. I can sit down, go on a live on YouTube, and talk about this topic for maybe half an hour. And so funny enough, Rodrigo got the chapter. He used a comparison that I did on the talk. I did 5 points. The last one I made a comparison. Rodrigo got that, made that comparison on all 5 points. So he got the chapter very, very well connected with all the 5 points. And to this day, it's one of my best downloaded ebooks. Is the ebook that was created from this chapter that Rodrigo did, right? So that Rodrigo was doing this because he knew about the yes but. So he was helping me find the buts, right? And then for me, that was huge results. So if you have results when you help others, you never burn out. Because everything that you do, you get results. So as long as you don't get resentful, you're never going to burn out. Right? So learn how to say yes, but, and start pushing things to your focus. To your focus. Because the more you help, the more results you have, the more you want to help. Look, if I help you and I get a better job, I want to help more you. Right? Oh, Bruno, I'm too tired because I have, you're traveling all over the US and have lots of flights, you're tired. Well, but if I come here and I got results, I have good questions, I have good conversations, I have new customers, I have all that. I want to do more of that, not less of that. And that works for your company too. Imagine if every time you went to an event, right, that your company sent you to an event somewhere, the company, let's make an absurd number here, but let's say, imagine every time you went to an event, your company made $1 million more, right? Next time you ask to go to the event, what are they going to say? Yes, we want to go to events, right? And so that's the same thing. If we're having results, man, we want to do more, not less. The biggest problem is that we try to help and never see results. Nothing happens. We don't advance. We don't grow. Everyone grows but us. We never have time. We can't spend time with our family. We can't do anything because we're just working for others. So focus is amazing important for it to be a given. Right, okay. Really quick here. I'm not sure if Vinicius on the...
He's probably not going to be able to make it tonight. He's
All
going
right.
to be here at 8:40 or so.
8:40?
8:40.
Okay, so
We'll have.
you guys don't have that time, do you? So are you okay sticking with me for a little longer? Is that okay? Then so I can spend lots of time answering questions here in a minute. Okay, so the other thing, responsibility. Do you want to grow in your career? Take the larger responsibility you can. Right? Every time I say this, people tell me, Bruno, you just said about, burning out and working too much. You're saying more responsibility? I don't want to do more work. Who said more work? Responsibility does not necessarily mean more work. Right? Responsibility is you being responsible for the results. And actually, many times, for you to be responsible, you got to do less work. Right? You are the person that's responsible for what's going on. Right? Responsibility is that thing. If anything goes wrong, it's my fault. If everything goes right, it's our result. Right? That's responsibility. And many times the leaders do less and not more. But they do more important things. They do things that impact more people. They have a larger impact in the company. Right? So many times that's what we need. Right? You get more responsibility. Now, responsibility is an interesting thing because you know what you should do to grow is get the larger responsibility that you want and that you can. Right? And sometimes when we start in our career, for example, we might not be able to get that many responsibilities, right? Because we can't solve big problems. But the longer we are in our careers, the bigger the problem we can solve. Right? And if you're the person that says, okay, that problem I'll solve. I'll figure it out. I'll resolve. You know, I'll get a solution for us. So think about this. Think about the largest problem that you want and can solve around you. Okay? The last one here in the top one is consistency. So developers have this idea of consistency. There is, I got to do the same thing every day. You know, like code for certain numbers of hours every day. You start coding at this particular time. No, that's not what we're talking about consistency. That is one type of consistency, but that's not what impacts your reputation. The consistency that impacts your reputation is consistency in terms of the quality of your work, right? So if you one day you are, you know, you do amazing work, and then other day you do a crappy work, right? One day you're very responsible, the next day you just throw everything out, right? If you're very inconsistent, what happens is that I can trust you. I don't know. I don't know if I give you a job, is that going to be well done or not well done, right? So if you're consistent, if you're able to, you know, to maintain a level of quality, if you're able to maintain a level of communication, if you're able to be trustworthy, right? I can talk to you and I know what you're saying. I understand that you're consistent. That increases your reputation. Make sense? So those things here are the 7 things you got to do to increase your reputation. Really quick, the things that you got to do that you have to decrease to increase your reputation, right? First of all, be a me person. Don't be a me person. This is very easy to know, right? So you talk to someone and they keep saying, oh, because I did this, I did that. Oh, that's me, you know, me, right? So that's a that's a me person, right? If you are that person, stop. Stop, because everyone around you hates, and you just don't realize. And every time you say me, people trust you less. I'm not saying that you have to never talk about you, right? Again, you have to have visibility, so you have to talk about the good things that you do. But if all you do is talk about me, that's a problem. You know, I used to have a friend that everything you said, he did better. Right? Everything. That, oh, you know, I got a talk accepted. I got 2. Right? You know? And it was funny because one day we were at the airport and there's this guy walk around and he has with 2 kids and he said, oh, those are your kids? Yeah, I know. Oh, actually, I think it was 1 kid. So he said, oh, is that your kid? Yeah, that's one. I have 2 kids, that one and that one over there. And he said, oh, I have 3. I'm like, what? What? You know, you have 1 daughter. What's the rest of the 2? Right? Like, you see? So yeah, that's a me person, right? Don't be that person, okay? Don't be the me person. The other one, and that one is the square, very important, right? So that one is the square. Do not lie. You know, if you lie, people don't trust you. Right? Remember, reputation about trust. So if you lie, people don't trust you. So always speak the truth. Or at least don't lie. Okay? Because if you lie, that's really bad. It can really destroy your reputation like this. And the last one is don't be a difficult person. Okay? There's all kinds of difficult persons. There's one that I like to mention here because this is the difficult person, Linus Torvalds version, right? So Linus Torvalds, he says what? Everyone says, oh, he's very rude. He's very, oh no, I'm direct. I always speak the truth, right? I just said this, don't lie, right? So that's a good, I can be very difficult because I always speak the truth. Yeah, that's a terrible way of being a difficult person, right? So don't be that difficult person. Don't be that person that's always pointing everyone's mistake. Some of those things you already talk about here, right? So a difficult person many times don't take responsibility. A difficult person many times is not consistent, right? Now, I mentioned Linus Torvalds here because he's a good example, right? That's a formula. It means, does it mean that I have to do everything here? No, those things just cannot be zero. You can have very big focus and just a tiny little bit of visibility, but you take lots of action, you have lots of expertise. Those things balance out. And they balance out even of the bad things to an extent, right? But let me give an example. Linus Torvalds, he's a very difficult person. Okay, so this is very difficult, right? But everything else he has good. So does that balance out? Linus Torvalds, he didn't need to be, he's very difficult. He can be difficult. Why? Because he always says the truth. He's not an easy person. He has a huge focus, amazing visibility. He takes action a lot. He has a huge skill. He's a totally give everything that he does open source, right? He takes all the responsibility. I mean, he's managed the Linux kernel, right? So huge responsibilities. He's very consistent. So he has the right to be a little bit difficult, right? No. A few months ago, Linus Torvalds apologized. He said, sorry, guys. People are pointing out how difficult I am. I'm going to change. I'm going to improve. Because even someone that has everything max here, being a difficult person doesn't work well. Okay? So don't be that person. Don't try to pretend, oh, I can be very good because I have amazing skill. I can be very difficult because I take a lot of action. It's not true. It will bite you in the end. Okay? So then look at this. Look where you can improve things. Look where you can reduce things here, right? And build a reputation. Make sense? All right, so everyone has a reputation formula, right? But that's a reputation formula. I'm BR Java Man, right? If anyone wants to message me on Twitter or anywhere else, I'm BR Java Man everywhere. I know that some people arrived later. Who got here later that did not get a sticker? Who else? There's a couple of people right here later. Just you? Okay. Everyone else you got a sticker? Yeah? Okay. You want one? Okay, good. All right. No problem. Okay. So so you can keep the sticker, and then someone was taking a picture there, right? So you can take a picture here. Right? Yeah, that's much better. Right? Yeah. Take a picture, right? You post there, I'll retweet. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I'm going to open for questions here because I think we got a little bit more time, right? Yep. So let me just get back here for if you arrive later. This is the free chapter for this book, the Developer Career Master Plan. So whoever arrived here later can get.
You have I'm coming over there.
Questions. Go ahead. Question, comments, anything, guys. I'll be here as long as you guys take me.
Hi. You mentioned earlier the FOMO aspect of
The what?
the fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Yes, FOMO. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, this going online is not for me. So you guys speak loud so I can hear it. But
okay.
That's for everyone. Everyone on the camera.
So the fear of missing out, that's a huge aspect in knowledge-related jobs like software engineering, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And Java developers, they're always trying to do themselves, like get more knowledge, but then also like trying to learn other languages like Python. And then, recently there have been other languages like Rust, for example. Is that other language that Google brought out?
Kotlin. Go, Kotlin. Yeah, that's lots.
And yeah, so there's and Scala, right?
Scala,
There's
yeah. Oh, sure.
another
Yeah, yeah.
language.
Right.
All these languages are kind of playing in the similar kind of, you know, like it's kind of the same wheelhouse,
Yeah.
all these languages.
Yeah.
And Java still seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah.
So are you seeing that Java remains a good viable language for development, or is it that we're looking at some kind of polyglot future for all these languages where you might be the master of one, but you might be still expected to have good knowledge of a couple of other languages?
Right. Okay. So I'm going to rephrase your question a little bit, right? So, do I have to learn multiple languages, right? Or can you just stick with Java, right? So that's more or less like this.
I have to learn both languages of Java.
So you have to. Do you have
The question
to?
is like, what's the direction in which
No,
it's going
but
in?
do you think you have to learn other languages?
I feel like I have to.
You feel like you have. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, okay. So basically, so first of all, learning languages, right? Here's a little bit about skills, right? We didn't talk too much about skills, but let me talk a little bit about skills here. So software, have you guys heard of the whole notion of hard skills, soft skills? Have you heard of that? Right? So there's a problem with hard skills, soft skills, because people kind of confuse things, right? People think that hard skills are are like a anything that's technology is a hard skill, and the soft skills like communication, right? But that's not the definition, right? The difference between hard skills, soft skills, actually hard skills are technology, right? But it's not really technology. Hard skills are hard skills because technique. It's technology from the point of view of technique, right? A hard skill, it's something that is hard, not because it's difficult. It's hard because it's precise. A hard skill is a precise skill, right? That means what? That means that every time you do that skill, the more precise you do it, the better you are. Okay? So a good example of a hard skill, I even have it here because I carry around with me. A good example for a hard skill is a keyboard. Typing on the keyboard is a hard skill. Why? Because a precise skill, right? The more, you have to know where to put your fingers, and the more precise is your movement, the faster you type. Okay? So that's a hard skill. It has a technique on how to type. Okay? That's in the better you get, right? So for example, hitting the ball in golf, that's a hard skill. Throwing a, how do you call on basketball when everyone is stopping, free throw, thank you. Throwing a free throw, it's a hard skill, right? Kick a penalty, it's a hard skill. Those are precise skills. The more precise is your movement, the better you are. Okay? Now, what are soft skills? Soft skills are not soft because they're easy. Soft skills are soft because they're malleable. Every time you apply them, they're different. Okay? So, for example, throwing a free throw is a hard skill, but playing basketball is a soft skill. Okay? Hitting the golf ball is a hard skill. I don't play golf, so I don't know what the soft skill in golf. Right? Maybe talking with other people around golf. I don't know. So, so everything that we do, it's usually a combination between hard and soft skill, right? Probably on golf, choose the right club. Choose the right club is probably a soft skill because it's malleable, depending on the sand, depending on the environment, depending on how far you want to go. So maybe choose the club is a soft skill in golf, right? So a soft skill is malleable. Now, for your brain, this does not matter. For your brain, it's the same thing. The way your brain learns the skills is the same thing. But the difference is how you practice hard skills, soft skills. And you're like, Bruno, what the hell are you talking about? That's about language. I'm going to get there in a minute. The difference is how you practice them. How do you practice a hard skill? The way you practice a hard skill is repeating the same thing over and over and over, because you have to practice I miss the word. So the hard skill is hard because precise, right? So you have to practice the precision, right? That's why you have to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. Now, how do you practice a soft skill? A soft skill, guys, is pattern matching, right? You know, if you play basketball a lot, it's pattern matching. You know what's going to happen magically, right? Not magically, but it's a skill. So a soft skill you practice by putting yourself in different situations, because you have to lived in that situation to know what to do, right? Now, what does it mean, right? The difference between it actually, skills is very funny, right? Because the skill is in your brain. It's really, right? It's biology. It's not just a generic idea. Your skills change your brain, change the biology of your brain. How much does it change? It changes the speed that your neurons work, right? How much does it change? Actually, to be more specific, skills are equal myelin. Remember myelin, that thing that goes around the neurons? Like it's an isolation layer, goes to neurons. So the more myelin there is around the neuron, the faster the electric pulse goes into your brain. So skill is having more myelin in the right neurons. So when you type on the keyboard, you have the neurons from your brain all the way to your fingers. They have to be with more myelin for the electric pulse goes really fast. How fast? A neuron with lots of myelin can be up to 100 times faster than a neuron without myelin. 100 times, guys. You know how we call 100 times? We call magic, right? That's why we have the Magic Johnson, right? Because it's magic. What he does, it's unbelievable. Because you cannot imagine how you can do something like this, right? So what this has everything to do with what your question. Here's something that's a little bit controversial, but for me it's not controversial at all. But you know, software development, guys, it's not a hard skill. Software development is a soft skill. When developers come to me and say, "Hey, Bruno, do you think soft skills are important for developers?" Yeah, software development is a soft skill, right? There are hard skills software development. For example, typing on the keyboard is a hard skill. Your IDE shortcuts is a hard skill, right? Your programming language, it's a hard skill. But software development, it's a soft skill, right? Because it's malleable. You're never doing the same thing. You know, it's different problem solving that you have to apply, different strategies, different ideas, right? So software development is a soft skill. And because it's a soft skill, how do you get better at software development? By doing different development. That's why you have to learn other languages, not for you to be master of other languages, but because you're going to be a better Java developer if you develop desktop application, if you develop web application, if you develop server-side application, if you develop command line application, if you develop things in Kotlin, if you develop things in Python. The more you expose yourself to different ways of software development, the better Java developer you become. Because you practice your soft skills. You expand your horizon, right?
That you can apply that thing that you learned over here to this and change it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's pattern matching. You know, oh, there's one way to solve things in Python. How do I apply this in Java? Right? So that's why I have to. Now, do you have to be the master of Python to be a better Java developer? No, you don't have to. You can if you want to, but then that depends on your focus. Actually, let me get back here. Right? It depends on your focus. Right? If your focus, for example, if your focus has anything to do with AI, you can do AI with Java, no problem at all. You can do 100% of what you want to do in AI with Java, but if you're doing AI, it'd be good for you to learn a little bit of Python, because there's so many things in Python that you can use to learn AI, that knowing a little bit of Python is going to help you out, right? So now, but you don't have to. But if you apply yourself to different situations, that's going to be better. Make sense? So now your question is, how about Java? Does Java still have a future? Oh yeah. Java has a future, no problem at all. So you don't have to move to another language if you don't want to, right? Guys, I'm not sure if there's anyone here that still works with COBOL, right? But yeah, you still work with COBOL, right?
Watson Code Assistant for Z.
Right.
AI, COBOL, and Java.
All right. Okay, cool. Yes. So I'll tell you what, there are COBOL developers. There are COBOL developers. They're still at university. They will learn COBOL. They will work with COBOL. They will retire working with COBOL. Right? And they have never even learned programming yet. Right? I'm talking about COBOL. So Java is the same thing. All of us here, we're going to retire. Even the young ones, we're going to retire in Java without any kind of problem. Right? It's not because Java is a legacy application. No, it's not like this. It's just because, guys, those things move with a lot slower than we think. Right? And Java, contrary to COBOL, Java is still evolving. Java is still coming out with the new technology. Now, you have to be careful, because Java is a production language. What do we mean by that? Java doesn't create things just to create things. Okay, Java doesn't innovate just for innovation purpose. Java innovates when it's needed. When there is a pressure from the market, when there's other languages have done things already, and we can learn from other languages, then Java innovates, because Java is a production language. Everything that's put in Java is going to be supported for the next 20 years. Right? So there's nothing put in Java if it's not going to be supported in the next 20 years. So they wait. They wait until it's needed to create anything in Java. So Java might have the impression that things are moving slower, but that's not true. And I found very funny, especially university students say, oh, because Java is an old language. Well, Python is older than Java. Right? There's no programming language right now, maybe Kotlin, right? But if you go on the TO index and you get the five most used languages in the world, none of them has less than 30 years. Right? And so that's the way it happens, right? So because we need time for things to mature. I remember when I started with Java many years ago, and I had a friend of mine that he and she's my wife now, but she's not my wife at the time. They built the first company in Brazil focused on Java, right? And so and I was talking to a guy from one of the largest banks in Brazil, and he went to visit his son, and I was very excited and said, hey, if you need some support with Java, because he asked me, is there any company I can talk to? And I said, yeah, you can talk to those guys here. They're the first company to start with Java. They have been working with Java for around 5 years. And the guy from the bank laughed. And I said, did I say anything wrong? And he said, look, I'm from the mainframe world, right? Someone in the mainframe, after 20 years, they're still juniors. Right? And so you're telling me someone that works with Java for 5 years and they're amazing, right? So I said, yeah, but Java only exists at 5 years, right? I said, I understand. That's why I'm laughing here, right? But guys, it requires time to mature. The reason why developers are worried about career right now and reputation is because we have 15, 20, 30 years of experience with Java. Because that's the amount of time that Java exists. And so when you get to that level, what you did before, right, what took you here is not going to take you there. right? So what happened before, you have to change the way you're doing to grow even more. And so, and I think that's very interesting because for me, right now, I'm helping a lot of Java developers to grow beyond senior. We didn't talk too much about growing beyond senior, but growing beyond senior, once you reach senior level, that's what lots of people happen. When they reach senior level, they stop there and they continue to be seniors forever. I was talking to a guy in Germany a couple of years ago, and he said that he became a senior developer in Java 1.2. Java 1.2, guys, came out in 98. So it means for 20 years, more than 20 years, this guy is a senior developer. Right? And so what do we do after senior? What took us there, not going to take us there. What took us here, not going to take us there. So we cannot be doing the same thing that we did before and think that we're going to grow beyond senior. We're going to stay stuck at senior forever, is that the thing. So, yeah, architect can be a possibility, right? But, but many people don't want to be an architect, for example, right? But yes, so yes, I don't think you need to get away from Java. I don't think, you can be much better, but I'm not saying that you should just stay in Java. Think about your focus. Think about what you want to do. Is that what you want to do for the rest of, for the rest of your career? Just sit down on the computer and program? Maybe not. So if that's not what you want to do, what are the other things you can do to grow beyond that? To be an architect, you might need to know other languages just because you're not going to build an architecture that can only work with one language, for example. Right? If you want to be, depending on what you do, you might need to learn other tools. Remember, all of those are tools. Right? And you can learn as many tools as you want. Who here has a tool shed in the house? Right? Some people have, right? Do you stop buying tools? Right? The people that love tools, they keep buying tools, right? I have lots of tools in my house, and every time we have it's not very common that we have like a power down for extended period of time, right? And for me, in my house, I have like a plan B, right? Because my neighbor connects to the power line in a different street than I do, right? So if I'm not without power, he has power. If he's without power, I have power, right? So so when that happens, we just pass a cable between our houses, right? And both of us have power, right? But I was about to travel here on Saturday. Me and my wife were out, and we went to a hardware store, and they had because we just had a really big power loss a few days ago, like a month ago, because there's a tree that fell right in front of my house, right? So it brought down my pole, right? So so it took some time for them to fix that, right? And so we were using the power from the neighbor and all that. Well, we were in the hardware store, and I saw this the power generator, and I said, "Hey, we should buy a power generator," right? And I brought the power generator home, right? And I put it there, and I told my wife, I said, maybe I should test it. And she's like, "You're gonna travel today." I said, "Well, but I should buy some gas and test it." She said, "No, you're gonna travel. I'm gonna take you to the airport in a couple of hours. Don't start anything." But what if I travel and you don't have power? And she said, "If that happens, right, I figure it out." But that's me. I love buying tools, right? There's this AI tools, right? That you have. I bought lots of them. There's this great site that I love called AppSumo. Not sure if anyone heard of that, but AppSumo is a great site. It's not for development necessarily, but they offer lifetime deals with tools, right? Because there's a lot of tools that I'm going to buy all the development tools that I need, right? So I pay for ChatGPT, for example, right? So I'll pay for that monthly. But there's some tools that I'm not going to pay monthly, right? So for example, automation, social media automation.
I'm not gonna pay monthly. I don't use it enough to actually be worthwhile. But if they have a lifetime deal, they can pay once and use for the rest of my life, right? You know, I'm using an AI tool now that that I just acquired a couple of weeks ago. That you get any YouTube video. That's great for user group, by the way, Barry. You get any user group in any long video, right? And that tool, it's puts all the chapters in the video for you automatically. It divides your video in chapters on YouTube. It generates the thumbnail for you, and it breaks in shorts and clips automatically. Press one button, does all of that. I'm like, that's great. Now, am I gonna pay $10 a month for that? No way. But you know, those guys were offering for $49. You have 4 videos a month for the rest of your life. That's a pretty good deal, right? You know, a user group has like 1 meeting a month. You can do that, and then you have all those extra videos, extra clips, all that to promote your video. That's great. So I love AppSumo, right? Because of that. I was looking the other day, and you know, I don't know, I have never seen this before. But one time I logged into the site, and they have a number that says, you know, how many deals you bought. It's like 254. Like, what? Those are tools. I have 200 tools that I bought, right? Lifetime deals. You know, I'm a tools. I love tools, you know, but does that mean that because I learn a new tool, I change my career, or I'm now something else? No, you know, it's just those are tools I'm going to use for what I do. Make sense?
Bruno, our
Yeah.
microphones are almost out of power.
All right.
So,
So like one last question, and then we.
I think we don't want to risk losing.
All right, just one last question then.
No. I think we don't want to risk one last question. I think I'm going to wrap up. Otherwise, we're going to go silent on the air.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So before we end that, right? So I'll be here. I can answer more questions without the video. No problem. Is there any questions online? No.
I don't want to risk. We'll.
Just a really quick, just question. Right? Let me answer one question from the online, right? Come on. So while he's looking at the question there, let me just tell you guys this, right? So if you are a developer, right? If you are a developer and you have over 10 years of career, right? So who here has more than 10 years of career? Okay, everyone. Okay, good. Right? So I mean, just the student. I mean, because lots of the students left, you just stayed. So that's it. Thanks. All right. Okay. So if you have more than 10 years of career and you're feeling stuck right now, you don't know exactly what to do. One of the things that I'm doing on this trip is that I'm opening up my calendar for next couple of weeks, where I'm doing one-on-one conversations about your career, right? So on those conversations, I'll help you understand what's going on. I'll help you make a plan for your career, right? And so if you want to do that, just stay here and we can schedule, right? For whoever wants. It's totally free, right? And people that have done this conversation have gone on to become Java champions, to become, you know, top developers, have, you know, grown their careers, have doubled their salaries, right? So I have a whole lot of results and success. So if you're interested in that, just stick around for a little bit, and I'll schedule a conversation with you.
And
okay?
And if you're on the YouTube, then your Twitter handle.
Yeah, I'm Java Man everywhere. Right. I'm Java Man, on LinkedIn, on everywhere, right? Bruno Souza Java, you can find me.
There we
So
are.
question, come on, really fast.
What? No. I need to wrap up before we lose our power.
All right, thank you very much.
I have a very few closing remarks, but
All right.
now I need to commandeer this. There we go. So I'm going to turn this around so that you can see me.
What are you doing?
I'm turning it around so they can see me while I end the meeting.
So you're gonna end the meeting from there?
I'm going to end the meeting from here, and let me just see what. So we're going to go down.
But you didn't tell me, there's no questions online?
There are, but I
Tell me one.
No.
I'll answer you in 1 minute.
We're gonna run out of power here. So here, hold on.
Okay, so
Hold on.
everyone online, Barry's the one that does not let me ask questions. So-
that, you can blame me.
So if you, okay, so really quick here, right? So let me get here.
Yeah.
So Barry does not let me answer your questions online, but if you have any questions, you know, you got my email because you download my book, send me an email and say, hey, Bruno, I want to have a conversation with you. You know, if you have more than 10 years of career and you're stuck, send me an email and I'll schedule a conversation with you online too, okay?
Or,
So, yeah, bye.
or social media BR Java Man.
Or BR German, yes.
Java Man, okay,
Yes.
all right.
So now,
And, okay, wait, there's one other that thing is completely, that one, I have to use this, okay. But, if our second speaker, Benicia Singer, is still on his way here, so he will not be able to make it tonight. But if you want to see him, and if you want to see more of Bruno, my gosh, of course you do. Then tomorrow in New York City at BNY Mellon, downtown, they will be presenting. And I will be live streaming it tomorrow. So join NY JavaSig. Actually, it's javasig.com. Go and sign up. Visit us in person or watch it online on YouTube tomorrow. Now, there's one other thing I want to tell you while I still have a tiny, tiny bit of power here. And what I'm going to do is boom, boom, stop participants and go and do some sharing. Give me a minute.
Love the way your eyes peek over.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we are. Okay, all right. For all information concerning Garden State Java User Group, visit gsjug.org. And if you want to sign up for our raffle, we always give away IntelliJ licenses, then please visit tinyurl.com/gsjugraffle. We'll be giving away one or more licenses to participants this evening. And I thank you so much for coming. If Mike were running this meeting now, you'd see a picture of beer and chocolate. So imagine that. We'll see you next month.
all right.
Next weekend.
Yeah, great Thanksgiving for everyone. Okay, thank you so much.
Giving an example of free throw and basketball.
Yeah.
Back in the '70s, the brothers,
Yeah.
they will bounce into every.
Right, yeah,
Every
yeah.
time.
Yeah, no,
Not just throw.
I mean, yeah, you have this, I never remember his name, but there is a basketball player, I'm not sure if you